It's like I don't even think you need a poll for that. But I've had the sniffles like the past week.
Just to troll your boy Sean Ross.
Yeah.
Right.
But having seen that video, I would, of course, like to extend an invitation to Sean Ross Sapp to Karaoke Mania because he can party with us. Absolutely. Yeah.
Oh, well, that's
so there you go.
Next is from
in his eyes, this show isn't good enough. So yeah,
right, exactly. Our little show is like not worthy.
Right.
Of him.
Yeah.
And his we're clout chasing. Next is Jared A. That subject is R.I.P. Bray Wyatt and Cesaro's lack of charisma. Hi, K100 fan.
Oh, let me ask you something, D. I'm sorry. This is based off this question. So I send out the show reviews to Husey to put on YouTube, of course, after they're on Patreon. And but in the middle of the AEW Dynamite review is when I read that Bray had died, and I told you guys.
Right.
Now, it was basically like, wow, and oh man, that sucks. And then we moved on. And I saw some YouTube commenters that were offended that we didn't pay enough time or attention or weren't sympathetic enough, I guess, to the news. And I was like,
what exactly? So tell me how the code of conduct for acting if somebody died that I've never met before.
The guy was like, yeah, Booker T spent more time on it when he was
knew that Booker T's a part of the WWE universe.
Right.
I've never met Bray Wyatt.
Yeah.
You know, R.I.P. Like, you know, since then, but I know nothing about. I've never met the guy. It's like bro, and it's not like I'm in this business and I have seen guys I've worked with die over the years.
I said that.
Constantly people die all the time. I bless the Lord every day that I'm alive because for some reason a lot of professional wrestlers die suddenly at very young ages compared to like the normal life expectancy.
Here's the thing, Joe, from my perspective, right? I met him once. I met him at WrestleMania. He was at a signing, and I was at a signing nearby, and I wanted to see if he wanted to work in Mexico. And I went over there, and he was really nice to me, and that was it, you know. But I don't know what more else I could have added when every superstar that knew him has already talked about him or given a tribute, because I didn't know him either. Of course, it's a big loss, but what am I going to add?
It's not like
nothing to really add. Are we supposed to add stuff and be disingenuous so everybody would think, oh,
no, not even that.
No.
The thing is to make it sound like we're happy that he died because we don't talk about it. Like, dude, my level of mourning for professional wrestlers in this business that die will be how close I was to them. Period.
Just like anybody. Just like
anybody.
Yeah.
It's like, it's like, I'm sorry people die. It's like
talent, incredible loss, but what else? I have no stories. We didn't wrestle together. We didn't share a dressing room. We didn't know each other. There's nothing more I can really add.
Right. So
it isn't like I grew up watching him, and I can go, oh, all these matches I saw of him. Yeah, real time. When we were talking about Bray Wyatt, I love that gimmick, the Firefly thing. Yeah. Even when Disco got tired of it, I still kind of held on for hope that it would get better until I finally had this go. This ain't gonna get any better, Yeah.
All right, so from Jared Aviat, hi K100 fam, hope all is well. It's a sad day for the wrestling world. The death of Bray Wyatt, may rest in peace. Just wanted to ask about Cesaro. Been watching him for years, but I always thought he had very little charisma or appeal to the masses other than being a good in-ring talent only. What does the crew think? People love to bash WWE's booking of him, but I thought Vince and company tried their best with the guy with multiple gimmicks, and they gave him main event programs to see if he can shine or not. What does the K100 crew think? Do some people just overrate Cesaro as an overall performer? Thank you. Regards, Jared. I'll say this, okay, and Cesaro had said this in an interview one time, okay, that the reason it's very difficult for him to come across, like, to develop charisma or, like, do things charismatic that people can identify with is the fact that, like, then this is an interesting take, and I've kind of always kind of looked at it as maybe this is there's a lot to this. Bro, the guy speaks 5 languages. He's very intelligent. Okay, so you're not going to get – so a guy that speaks 5 languages and is very intelligent, it's going to be very difficult to find this inner thing in him where he can turn it on and be like a vicious, like killer, monster, like a guy that would that invited you, like that could turn on a dime and like snap your neck off at an instant. He just comes across like a guy that you could have very intelligent conversations with, like at a dinner. And like when he's trying to like develop charisma, he says it's very difficult for him to think like in one particular gimmick when you speak 5 languages and all those languages are going off on your head at the same time. So it's like, I just look as like he's a guy that probably would have been successful in any other business venture he'd been in non-wrestling, but he's a professional wrestler now, and his personality. This is just a very well-educated, intelligent guy that's doing wrestling. Kind of like Nathan Jones. Nathan Jones is a very well-spoken, intelligent guy that, like, when you look at him on camera, and then he comes backstage, it's like it's two completely different people. And so it's very difficult for him to, like, come across as like the way he looked. I don't know, but that's my take on Cesaro. I just think he's very intelligent, comes across like that, which means it's not, you don't really look at this guy as like a guy that's you want to beat people up. I don't know. It's like, what do you think?
Here, so you can say hi to Disco. Wait a minute, Disco. Look who's here.
Who we got? Who is that?
Jacob.
Whoa.
Oh, hey, Jacob. Jacob, how long are you in town for? How long are you in town for?
Well,
hey.
Oh, he can't hear you because the headset. Yeah.
You there?
Be able to hear you.
Hi.
Yeah. How long are you in town for?
I'm leaving now.
Oh, you're leaving now. How long were you here for? How long were you here for?
I was here for 11 days. I was in Greece for 3.5 weeks.
Oh, nice. That's some girls from Greece recently for like 3.5 weeks too. I got a question. Do you see that the Aussie football teams are going to be starting their season in Vegas next year?
That's rugby. That's rugby.
Oh, that's rugby. Are you a rugby fan?
Yeah. No, I'm AFL.
Oh, you are? Okay, never mind.
Tell them the name.
I thought you might be coming to Vegas for the for that. So.
Yeah. No, I heard they are. They're playing 2 games in Vegas. There's 2 NRL games. That's Sydney. That's a Sydney sport.
Oh,
we're in Melbourne sport. Yeah, we're AFL. Yeah, sweet. Okay. That'll be good.
All right.
Good to see you.
Jacob.
What'd you say?
Tell them your team, isn't it?
My team's Richmond Tigers, but that's
Tigers?
an AFL. Yeah, but that's an AFL team. Yeah.
I'll bet against them tonight. So
good to see you guys.
We can bet against them. Yeah, so look at the odds.
Awesome.
Bye, man.
We already won 3 recently. We won 3 premierships recently, so we're all right. We're in rebuild at the moment, so we're good. You can bet against us. You'll win.
Right.
See you guys.
All right, peace.
All right. So this is what we were talking about, Claudio, right?
Yes.
So this is what I think about Cesaro, bro. I would always keep him. Great guy, great for locker room chemistry, which is important. He's liked and respected by everyone, which is important. It's good for putting together matches. Plus, he can go, great shape. Right. Look, not everyone is, let me explain something to you, DI, and you know this. Not everybody is blessed with the Joe David Lee Roth Feeney charisma. Okay, that's and for those of you that don't know who David Lee Roth is, please look up Van Halen. Not everybody in Queen could be a Freddie Mercury or the Doors, or in movies you got your stars, you got your supporting cast, guys that have a few lines. Maybe he's in your star, but he's a good supporting cast guy. Wrestling's no different. Know your lane. Problem is everybody thinks they're a star, whether it's social media, podcasting, wrestling. Sometimes you have to know your role and appreciate it, and sometimes if you really believe in yourself, you go elsewhere. I think that his problem, definitely is charisma, but he's somebody I would definitely keep around.
Yeah. So next is from Brad Zawacki. I've never heard that name before.
Brad from
That's the guy from Atlanta that sent us the bats.
Oh, it is? Okay, cool. Yeah, Brad. Grip Baseball. Yeah, Grip Baseball Company.
GripBaseballCompany.com.
Yeah, nice. Thank you very much for that, Brad, too. I appreciate you. Hey, guys, did you see the 3 fans run up on Ronald Acuna Jr. during the Braves-Rockies game the other night? Acuna ultimately laughed it off. All the security is almost non-existent. In fact, the Braves bullpen was on the field faster than the Rockies security guards. I immediately thought of fans storming wrestling matches, and the response has been totally different than Acuna's response. Instead of laughing it off, the wrestlers would pummel the interfering fan. To Conan and Disco, what's your most memorable fan interference moment you experienced or observed during your journey in professional wrestling? Thanks, that's some Brad's wacky. That's 100% the Raven thing, where he was sitting in the corner. A fan jumped the rail, grabbed him by the hair because Raven had a full head of long hair, got a handful of hair, and yanked him out of the ring. Like, and this took Joe try to find that. The whole thing took like 5 seconds. Yeah, like, what the? It's like, we're like, what the? And of course, we
I've
laughed
never
at
seen
him.
this.
You've never seen this? Well,
No.
we laughed at him when he came back to the locker room. That was the funny thing about it. Kid
Yeah, I
moved
might have
all
not
over
been
him.
there.
I got it. And the
Got
problem, because I'm switching my sound here, but the problem with it that you'll notice, it's a little embarrassing, is he's caught very, very off guard. So he kind of goes, ah, you know?
Right. I can't believe you don't remember this, Conan. This is the only thing I
Maybe
remember.
when I see it, I will.
Diamond Dallas Page for years.
In about 10, 15 seconds, it'll happen. Just so it's not a whole thing. I just want you to know.
All right.
I've listened to you profess to be the hardest working man in wrestling. How you practice 12 hours a day. How you diet and go to the school. Paige, that's not how you became a superstar. How you became one is you moved next door.
What's this about? What is going on here? Now, as he was saying,
With this jacket. Oh, my God.
Oh, the mic got, yeah. All right, that's enough.
All right.
Well, I like how he no-sold it.
All you had to do was walk out of your front door, knock on your neighbor's door, and ask
That's
me for
good,
a
Joe.
job.
Okay.
What'd you think of that, Conan?
That's hilarious. I don't know what would make somebody jump the thing and do that, but
It's fun.
So it just shows you the mental acumen of some people out there. You know, like there's always these people on the extreme end of the bell curve that, you know, they overreact to things. And, you know, they shoot people. I hear the wrestling fan. The guy's mad at him. A professional wrestler's cut a promo. A guy jumps the rail and tries to yank him out of the ring. And, you know, I mean,
so
come
this
on.
guy's
You know?
talking about wildest things. If you go, there's a video out. Ron Rivera, who's the guy that started the precursor to PWG in California. He was like my young boy, one of the trainers for the Young Bucks. And what was the? I think it was called Rev Pro.
Rev Pro.
Was the Yeah, Rev Pro. He started that company because he loved Lucha Libre, hanging out in the road with me. And he has film clip of this video series called Before They Were Stars. And bro, we used to start riots all the time, to the point where there was no security back then. So you had to fight the fans. There's a real good one where Psychosis, who was a crazy when he was young, grabs a bat and goes after a fan, and he swings the bat, and I actually ducked my face and go, and he slipped on a Coke or something, or beer.
Oh.
And I ran out the ring as fast as I could, and I grab him and I take the guy away. You know, I've had guns pointed at me before. There's a very famous cold open where Norman Smiley, who used to be known as Black Magic in Mexico, talks about an incident, him, me, and a girl in a car, and the police pull up with a whole, you know, drawing guns, and how much of a cocky I was and what I told the police when they got there. But that wasn't really with fans. But, you know, in Mexico, there's been a lot of really bad incidents. I think I told the one about Rey Mysterio, where they put me in jail with LA Park. You can look them up in our archives.